Hi, Joe Cerrone.
And Alan Rosen.
Welcome to CAD-118, Advanced AutoCAD, in our weekly Zoom classroom meeting. Alrighty, so here we are in our third week of our course. We're running our Zoom classroom meeting at 11:45 using our Zoom link. We're working on Module 3 this week, and we're continuing with the solid modeling that we started reading in Chapter 2, Module 2. And so as we continue working on this exercise, we're going to show how to create this architectural table using solids. And then the other assignment is a mechanical drawing, and it's also with solids. And the reason we use solids is that we can 3D print them, and we can create and use what they call Boolean operations, which allows us to do things like subtracting different geometric shapes from other solid models. And so the assignment this week is to complete this table drawing in this mechanical project. If we go and take a look at the D2L course shell under content, and then we go to module 3, we're going to look at creating this table right here. The sizes are given, and we're going to create this mechanical project. The textbook readings are still the chapter 2, but we've enhanced it by using this AutoCAD 3D. And so in this area here, if we take a look at this, there's some additional reading material that will help. Things like the right-hand rule and the x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis, showing the positive rotation angle, and how we tie that to our coordinate system. Because essentially, when we work with AutoCAD in 3D, what we're doing is we're setting up a number of things. View presets. When we view something and we use the presets, we use an isometric viewing angle. And these are the angles that you would be looking at. And so it's good additional information. So southeast, northeast, northwest, and southwest. And that's how those views are determined when we look at something in 3D. And so, for example, if we were to look at this table from our viewing angle, so southwest, southeast, northeast, and northwest. And those are tied into how we view things from different angles. And then things like visual styles, wireframe, and conceptual, but there's other ones like hidden, realistic, shaded, and how to apply those. We don't do so much rendering. It takes a lot of time. It's a very picky area. And then some information on 3D O-snaps. And so in the video, teacher video for this, I use 3D O-snaps. And 3D O-snaps are a great way to be able to attach things in the 3D work environment. And then if we go and take a look at back to module 3, working with primitives. We did quite a bit of work with primitives in our 117 course, things like boxes, cylinders, cones, polysolids, which essentially are polylines that are extruded, but other geometric shapes. Working with boxes, cones, cylinders, And so we show those construction techniques as a review, how to extrude things, solid modeling, and Boolean operations. And so as we talk about Boolean operations, what we're talking about is joining things together or gluing them together. And we've done some of this in 117, but essentially the parts are separate until you union them. And so unioning them creates one piece out of it. And some aspects as far as creating things like helixes. And then toward the end of the chapter, there's some good exercises here. And so this is where we pulled our table. And there's some other additional assignments if you are interested as bonus. So back to the module 3, the assignments are to create the table and the mechanical project. The videos for how to create those are located right here. And so here's the video. And we go through and walk you through those construction techniques. We like to start off the same with drafting settings, creating the two-dimensional geometry, extruding that, unioning those, and then creating that cylinder and another cylinder for the center of the table. And then the table. And so as you can see, you don't build the table like you build it actually like you're building it. And so as we put it together, we're showing those techniques and then putting it into an architectural title block. And so once you've modeled it, then we want to put it onto the architectural title block because its units are in feet and inches. And then we just place this in an isometric view. And I think I set it up so it has a visual style of conceptual. And then we just fill out the title block, information, and scaling information, and turn it into the D2L folder. All righty, back to the D2L. Let's pause that. And then there's a second video for the mechanical project. And so as we continue to build our modeling skills, here's project 2-3I from our textbook. And so project 2-3I, it's located in our textbook, and we walk you through how to model that part. And so back to the D2L, to module 3. Back to the main splash page. And then in our calendar, let's see. Al, would you like to talk a little bit about this practice midterm exam?
Yes, be happy to. Let me get this thing up here. Okay.
And let's touch base too on the due date. So module 2.
Yeah, module 2 is due on the 8th on Sunday at 11:59 p.m. If you click on it, please, one time. Hopefully it does not duplicate itself. There we go. And it should show exactly what we should do in those dates.
Excellent.
Go to the next one, go back up to the splash page.
All righty.
And if you go down a little further, and this is a practice exam that is opened up today. Basically, it's open-ended. You can look at it, use a book, notes, computers, open mind, whatever else can be. That's good for now until the 15th on Sunday, 11:59 p.m. The main midterm starts on Sunday morning, October 15th.
Right. And so if we take a look at this, it's a practice exam. If I view this as a teacher, we can look at it a little bit deeper.
There it is.
This one right here.
Mm-hmm. It is
Alrighty,
worth
and
10 points. It's worth 10 points just to make sure that you have done it. So if somebody asks us, hey, did so-and-so at least looked at it? And we say, yep, because it automatically scores it, drops it into our grade book.
that's right. And so this is practice for the midterm exam. And you can see the point values. That's how the midterm exam will be. And so this is a practice exam. And Al has made it worth 10 points. But the questions themselves are what we want to talk about, the content. And so what this does is it gives us the ability to assess if you're following the information from the end of the chapter. And so they're questions from the end of the textbook, essentially. And you can take that an unlimited number of times.
That is correct.
You can use the computer. It's open book, open notes. And then on October 15th, we will have the midterm, which we'll be using an honor lock proctoring tool, and it will be like the practice exam. All righty. So with that, Al, anything else that we want to talk about before we stop the recording and open things up for questions?
No, that's about it. They should have received also another email from us explaining that we're not going to be in Skokie's lab P134 and 131 and 132 tomorrow on the 4th, but we resumed at same times the following week. It's a conflict of room assignments at this time, and so can't do it.
All righty, very good. So no in-person tomorrow due to some room configuration changes over at the Skokie campus, but we'll be back the following week on campus. With that, I'll stop the recording and we will open things up for questions.